Nobody's saying that, but it's just that
and it's not in the contemporaries in
you can get
Rivers State.
Top of the day to you wherever you are listening and watching us from. My name is Odu Black and welcome to the show called Pundits. But we want to ask, this is 2022. We are getting ready for 2023. Everybody is getting busy asking to be given a political chance or to be given another chance again. Today on Pundits, we want to ask, does a man Babajide Sanwo deserve another chance to rule Africa's premium states for another 4 years? Well, to help me do justice to this is Mr. Matthew, who has been an ardent follower of Nigerian politics and Lagos in particularly. He wants to tear the topic apart. Let's know if Sanwo deserves another 4 years, given the antecedent we had as a no-nonsense state in Lagos, because we remember a man called Ambode that was booted out under 4 years. Mr. Matthew, welcome.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Alright, so this is 2023 is around the corner. Does the man, but in the next 14 minutes, does the man Sanwo deserve another 3 years?
Okay, thank you for having me once more. To start with, let's say by our standard, Babajide Sanwo is eligible to recontest election come 2023.
Yes.
I quite acknowledge and remember that in the build-up to 2019 election, there were forces that worked against Ambode, who at the time most of us felt he deserved a second tenure, considering the level of infrastructural development he was undergoing. He was actually working seriously.
It was for the people.
In a nutshell, I think I can say, like you rightly said, he is a man of the people. But again, I think the political class saw it differently, because for the political class, they felt he was not a party man. I think that best explains the reason he was not given opportunity to serve a second tenure.
Let's be very categorical. Will you say being a party man and being for the people, which is the best?
To be quite honest with you, it is better you are on the side of the people, not just being on the side of the people because you play to the gallery, on the side of the people because you are delivering the dividends of democracy. And to a large extent, I think that was what Ambode stood for, because you could see infrastructural development almost in every strata of the society in Lagos State, from Ojodu Berger to Faba to Oshodi. It cut across almost everywhere. So I think, because if you look at Nigerian politics generally, what shapes Nigerian politics is pecuniary interests. It's not rather because of the dividend of democracy you are bringing to the people. If you are not lubricating the structure, what the politician will call the structure, nobody will see you as working. Because in a nutshell, the politician will say you are not lawyer once you are not lubricating the structure. And what does it take to lubricate the structure? If you are bringing about stomach infrastructure to the political leaders by way of giving them funding, they don't want to know, they don't want to mind whether it's public fund.
I like this word, stomach infrastructure.
So what, in a nutshell, I think for me, Ambode deserved a second tenure, but he was working according to the party leaders against their interests.
Okay, I want to cut it short. Will you see that Ambode hasn't? Why will you say he deserves a second tenure? Is it because he works for the people or he works for the political juggernauts?
We could see his footprint in almost every area in Lagos State in terms of infrastructural development. I would say he's somebody that has passion for massive infrastructure, considering the projects he initiated. Because if you do a comparison analysis, Ambode versus Sanwo, when it comes to Sanwo, you see a governor who is merely struggling to complete projects that were initiated by Ambode. I hardly see any project that is initiated by this current governor. So
he's a continuity ambassador.
Yes, I quite agree. Government is a continuous process. It's not bad if he's continuing the projects he inherited. But one would have expected that he would have initiated some projects at least to boost his profile, because it will not overwhelm that you rule for 4 years. No project can be attributed to you as being initiated and completed. But you cannot say that of Ambode. So for me, to be quite honest with you, I do not feel an Ambode, a Sanwo-Olu should be given another 4 years. The reason is even far beyond the issue of performance in terms of infrastructural development and all that.
This is frightening.
The reason I'm saying it is this. I want to draw your attention to the issue of EndSARS in Lagos State. To be quite honest with you,
he was up and about.
I'm coming. To be quite honest with you, during that protest at Lekki Tollgate, I saw a governor who I doff my heart for, because you saw a governor who was routinely coming to the Lekki Tollgate to address the protesters,
to appease everybody,
to make the 545 demand, to present the 545 demand before the Mr. President, and will come back to Lagos. He was doing that very well, and I cherish that. But where he got it wrong is when, after the unfortunate incidents that happened at the Lekki Tollgate, I mean the shooting. To be quite honest with you, it doesn't matter the denial of the government of Nigeria, whether Lagos State government, whether federal government, the facts are there. Because go and check in 2020, the chief coroner of Lagos, in the person of Mojisola Dada, made a public announcement and asked people who lost their loved ones during the EndSARS protest to visit Lagos State Teaching Hospital for the purpose of identifying the remains of their loved ones. Consequent upon that, the human rights activist Fanana made inquiry and discovered that about 98 corpses were dumped in different mortuaries in Lagos State. And this is a direct effect of people who were killed by security agencies in Lagos State.
Just for asking for rights.
Now, go and look at the EndSARS report. He collaborated with that Falana's finding. So you cannot attach any number to the number that is being killed at the Lekki Tollgate. But if you look at the leak report, it tells you that there was massacre at the Lekki Tollgate. But the area and the time I lost confidence in the incumbent governor is when he rubbished that report. To be quite honest with you, after he rubbished that report, I no longer take him seriously. You could recall that even Babaji Sanwo-Olu made a promise of peace walk, where he mentioned the likes of FAS, the Fela's son, and some other persons. And they were prompt in telling him that you needed the peace walk we need in Lagos State is justice for the victims.
The slain people
yes.
Are too good.
And that if they get justice, there's no need for walking on the street to say you are initiating any peace walk. So for me, after that, his approach to addressing the EndSARS report, I lost confidence in him.
Okay, if I give you your voter's card today, will you vote for Babajide Sanwo-Olu, given the fact that he is a brilliant banker, an economic intellect? He has the wherewithal to muzzle Lagos out of all this quagmire that we find ourselves, that we walk and we cannot find a way forward. Can we not look away and give an intelligent man a way forward?
For me, if I have my voter's card and I decide to vote, I will do a critical analysis of all the candidates who are on the ballot.
Okay.
Then that will now inform my decision. The way it stands, even the Sanwo have not declared his intention to recontest. He have not publicly made his intention.
But these posters are out.
The same way we are seeing other people's posters out there. What I'm trying to say in essence is he have not officially made a public proclamation that he's contesting. Until he does that, I will evaluate and appraise his performance holistically. Then marry with other aspirants or other candidates of other political party who are on the ballot. I think that will inform my decision.
As a man who watches the political space, will you say it was a humongous mistake that Ambode wasn't given a second chance and he was replaced with Sanwo? Two of them, who would you think? Should we have allowed Ambode to continue or Sanwo to continue?
If you ask me, I will tell you that it is a setback stopping Ambode from getting a ticket for a second term. Because you see somebody who was working with serious tenacity, serious vigor, with serious energy, and he was on the right track. Because you see almost all the areas of his interest in terms of infrastructural development that's strategic. The reason you even see traffic easing in Lagos is because of those strategic infrastructural development here and there. So I think Ambode have a well-graphed knowledge of the Lagos road network and what needed, maybe because of his team anyway, but he was ahead. So in a nutshell, we can say he was doing the right thing. But for me, I think it was a setback not allowing him to do a second term.
Will you categorically say Ambode deserves a second time to come back?
If I see Ambode on the ballot, I will vote for him. I have said it diplomatically that he deserved a second term. So for me, it was a setback not allowing him to do a second term. And even if I see Ambode on the ballot seeking for a position higher than the governor, I will vote for him. Because this is somebody who has been tested and we have seen the result. And we have been talking about in Nigeria that most people who you bring up, who you elect into offices or give political appointment, we seldom see results. Look at the issue of security at the national level. Look at what we are facing in Nigeria. Look at recently an aircraft was stopped from taking off from Kaduna Airport by insurgents, terrorists. We now have the recent incidents where even terrorists have to blow up rail line, and we are still battling with the aftermath effect of that.
Okay, you say you don't think Sanwo deserves a second time, but Mr. Sanwo has shown that he's humane. He is very trustworthy. With the visit to the Kaduna crisis, can you not look back? Is there anything good that you can think about that Mr. Sanwo have done in his tenure?
Now let me bring this to your knowledge. They say security and welfare of Nigerians shall be the primary purpose of governance.
Yes.
It's an integral part of our constitution.
Yes.
Go and cast your mind back and look at the crisis between Russia and Ukraine. I don't think there's any day, or say let's say a space of 1 week, you have up to 80 persons killed. I'll tell you that the protests that occurred in Lagos State, within a space of 1 week, you have about 98 persons killed. So who are you governing? Just the same way you look at the way Nigerian security architecture is currently, and you see that a whole railway from Abuja to Kaduna was attacked, and as we speak, the government have not known the number of people abducted. As we speak, they don't have the data to know. They're still battling to know the number of They are still battling to know the number of people who were abducted. So what I'm saying in essence is, let the government do the needful. The government is failing woefully. The government is failing woefully in terms of this critical area of governance. Like I put it rightly, that security and welfare of Nigerians shall be the primary purpose of governance. So for me, if you even look at that is why I am even calling for Mr. President to throw in the towel, because you cannot be ruling the country and Nigerians are being kidnapped in their numbers, being raped, being maimed just on a daily basis, and you still not to have any solution to how to address it. So for me, I think the government, Muhammadu Buhari, should throw in the towel.
But Nigerians are people who are very, very oppressed, and it seems we have come to that point where if we don't answer our citizens, we are going to get the worst in the country. What will you tell the president, the governor, to do to avoid unnecessary calamity in the nation?
I think I would say that Nigerians are docile to a fault. They are docile because...
Are you reading responses on Facebook?
What I say they are docile is this: if what is happening in Nigeria happens in some other places in the world, you would have seen a serious uprising. So even the president and the government, they are seeing a docile people to manage. So they should even be giving thanks to God.
So we are getting what we deserve.
That is not what I'm saying in essence is, Nigerians seldom react. They are docile. They are easily persuaded by the government. You know, the people in government, they have this sugar-coated tongue. But in a nutshell, it is unthinkable that you will have a country where you call a sovereign state. You will see insurgents overrunning a state. As we speak, a place like Zamfara, Kaduna, Niger, even the home state of Mr. President, Katsina, the security situation in those places is nothing to write home about. The only safe means of transportation from Abuja to Kaduna before now was, apart from air, was through the rail. Now look at what has happened. So what I say in essence is, we cannot continue in this manner, and the worrisome part of it is that the government over the months have been getting approval for fund to fight insurgency.
In your words, you are saying you are going against someone, and he is among the quickest people to respond to the real issue.
The issue is this: any person who is in government currently, who is responding to the attack on the railway, is reactionary. We are talking about proactive action to forestall the incidents. Just like Amachi was saying, perhaps he had a proposal on how to get digital equipment to forestall these incidents. According to him, the cost was about 3 billion naira or so, which was not approved anyway. But the issue is, what he's saying now, it was not in the public domain before now. And all we know is that he's the Minister of Transportation. All we know is that Mr. President is the President and the Commander of the Armed Forces, and the buck rests with him. So when there is security lapse, the President should take the blame. When there is success in all the theaters of operation, the President will take the glory. So the way it stands, Mr. President, we need results, because it behoves on Mr. President to protect life and property are being accorded to him by the Constitution. If Mr. President protects life and property, he's not doing anybody any favor. Rather, he's doing his duty has been accorded to him by the Constitution. So what I'm saying is, in the face of Mr. President not having what it takes to deliver, I think the right thing for him to do is to throw in the trowel.
Okay. Thank you very much. I've had a good time with you, but I want to ask you one pertinent question, which is the last. Where and how do we find the solution moving forward?
Thank you very much. The solution, if the government is sincere, is around the corner. Because one, in this scenario, in this type of scenario,
does it not lie with the people instead of the government?
No. You fight it through technology. Let it be technology driven. You see, sometime about 4 or 5 years ago, when Donald Trump was the president of the United States of America, there was an incident where America had to kill an Iranian military diplomat, Soleimani, who they killed in Iraq. What I try to say in essence is they monitor them through drone, through technology, and they train him and ensure that he left environment where they would record much colossal damage. When they were satisfied that the damage would be minimal, he was taken out. What am I trying to say? It was driven through technology. Look at the current crisis between Russia and Ukraine. At the point, America was even using goggle against Russian soldiers. That is technology. In the phone you are using, if you make a call, if you are having conversation through the phone, the network provider know the mask you're operating from, and they have your call log. What we are saying is, to what extent is the government leveraging on all this information? And it's at the beck and call of the government, because government regulate network providers. We are aware recently how the government compel all of us, even if we have to go through some difficulties in registering our SIM card. So to what extent has government utilized those information to address these security challenges? And all these things I'm mentioning border on addressing it through technology.
Thank you very much, Mr.
So the government, the solution is around the corner. Look at, in fact, it's unfortunate the situation we find ourselves. Shegumi, who have visited bandits in the forest, in their enclaves, severally, should know better where to find them. There are pictorial evidences as well when and where the Katsina governor Masari visited the bandits in the process of trying to broker peace. So what I'm trying to say in essence is the government is not doing enough, and the worst part of it is that all the area they have looked for as of fund to fight this insurgency, banditry, terrorism, they have been getting approval from National Assembly without delay. Don't forget that recently the money that was supposed to be meant for 3 tiers of government from SS crude account, the local government and state government were magnanimous enough to allow federal government to remove $1 billion. Yes, out of which they purchased 12 Tucano jet for $559 million. So what I'm trying to say, if fund is not a challenge and you have competitive advantage over the insurgents, so because you have access to so many infrastructure globally.
So will you say willpower is a problem?
It's not about willpower, it's about the right approach, and the right approach is through technology. I don't think they are doing that.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Matthew.
Thank you very much.
But I want to ask you, according to your last statement, can we use technology and then we look at if the damage is not so closer, we can sacrifice a few people to arrest the insecurity? And Sanwo as well, who is the subject matter today, should you not look at anybody that is affected, so long as it's not too much, and do the right thing, then you'll be given a second chance?
The question you ask, that same scenario played out when the Kaduna State Governor Malam El-Rufai was quoted to have said that at a point he was ready to sacrifice some Nigerians who were kidnapped as long as the military and the Air Force could bomb and kill all the bandits for us to have peace. Though people like us faulted that decision anyway. But it happened that even after those people who were kidnapped may have been their release may have been negotiated and they were no longer in captivity, that between that time and now the federal government did not use that window of opportunity that we are not having people in captivity to bomb and kill the bandits. So for me, the government is not doing enough.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Well, we look forward to seeing you another time.
It's a pleasure.
This is Pundits, a program where Flip TV offers an opportunity for you and I to talk about how Nigeria can move forward. Please do us a favor to follow the links on your screen, below the screen, and then subscribe and then share your opinion with us. We've had a good time with Mr. Matthew. My name remains Marvel Odublag. I had a good time with you and I had a good time with my brother. Please do keep staying tuned and join us when next we see. God bless.
Saying that, but it's just that
and it's not in contemporaries in
you can get
Rivers.